What's up, everybody? It's your boy Joshua Edwards, live from Brooklyn, New York. This is Panthers Pride Television. We know that we are officially rolling into trade talks. We know everybody's going to be testing the market. There's going to be a lot of marquee guys that have been with teams for a certain amount of times that are going to be hitting the free agency. We know the Philadelphia Eagles only have $3 million to work with in this offseason with their cap space. We know that there are going to be tons of guys from winning cultures, winning Super Bowl teams, division winners, etc., teams that were in the wild card that are going to hit the test market or that's going to test the market. And there's a couple guys. The first guy that I'm talking about is Najee Harris. Now, if you know anything about the Panthers and just what we succeeded in last year, it was in our running game. Chuba Hubbard was the first 1,000-yard rusher we have had since Christian McCaffrey. Chuba Hubbard was a top 5 running back before he was placed on IR. Chuba Hubbard was also a guy that nobody really expected him to carry on the load like he did. Played at Oklahoma State, was a guy that during his time frame at Oklahoma State, he led the entire college football and total rushing yards. So he has been a hidden gem that we got third round, if I'm not mistaken. And now there's a guy by the name of Najee Harris. Najee Harris was the former Pittsburgh Steelers first-round pick. If you don't know who Najee Harris, here is his breakdown. So he's the only running back in the last 4 seasons to have 1,000-yard each single season. This past season had 283 receiving yards, averaged about 61.4 rushing yards per game, over 1,000. Once again, hits that mark, 1,043 yards, over 1,300 yards from scrimmage. Played 17 games this season and tallied 6 total touchdowns. Now, the thing with Najee Harris, he's going to hit the market because of just what the running back market is now. We know who's at the top money-wise is Christian McCaffrey. If we go talent-wise, it's Saquon Barkley. And then everybody else is below that. For some reason, the Pittsburgh Steelers and a lot of teams are missing their mark when it comes to the running back position. You saw the Philadelphia Eagles literally won the Super Bowl by acquiring Saquon Barkley from free agency. I'm not saying Najee Harris is in that same caliber. Do not get me wrong. But he was a former first-round pick. Like, he can play ball. He's the only running back in the last 4 seasons to have over 1,000 yards in each single season. That has to mean something, especially in a day and age where so many teams are built upon a two-team or two-back system. He's the only guy that's still hitting 1,000 yards. And they had T.J. Warren, and he still is hitting 1,000 yards. So I think Najee Harris is going to command quite a nice little penny. 3 years. He's still young. Former first-round talent. He does not have a lot of tread on his tires because he was splitting carries. But, I mean, he's a guy that could be a bell cow. I think that we should take a look at him. He's a valuable asset. We know Jonathan Brooks is not going to be back this entire NFL season. If we sign Najee Harris, let's just say 1 year, $10 million contract, I mean, just look at the physicality that he's going to bring to our offense. Chuba Hubbard isn't as physical as Najee Harris. Najee Harris is a downhill runner. Chuba Hubbard, he can find the crease in the zones. So if you pair those two just for 1 season, you kind of get a little punch like a Jonathan Stewart, D'Angelo Hall per se. And, I mean, you just look at just the upside. What upside does he bring? He's physical. He's agile. He can go around you. He can jump over you. And he can catch out the backfield. We know Chuba Hubbard has some stone hands. I hope he's working on that this offseason. But Najee Harris is a guy that will be there for a lot of said teams that need running backs. Carolina Panthers, we know that we need a running back. I don't think that we should waste a draft pick on a running back because we've already drafted our future running back. So instead of drafting a running back per se, let's just do a 1-year rental. There's nothing wrong with just taking time just to make sure that we have all the pieces correct, that we make sure that we got this thing right. Even if we sign Leonard Fournette in free agency, there are other guys in the free agency or other guys that have been on the market or that are going to hit the market that can provide some type of valuable commodity or can be a valuable commodity to the Carolina Panthers and the Panthers organization. Now, Luke Kuechly, we know that I talked about him not making the NFL Hall of Fame. We know that I talked about him missing, for whatever reason, not being a first ballot Hall of Famer. And here is his stats compared to just a former or a Hall of Famer right now, versus Patrick Willis. He eclipsed Patrick Willis in every stat except for sacks. And if you look at just the even more breakdown, the All-Pros, same season, tackles, interceptions, we know that he is head and shoulders better than Patrick Willis, currently speaking. But he was on record talking about the possibility of just making a comeback. We know that he ended his career early because he kept having too many concussions. He was a guy that retired at the top of his game, kind of like an Aaron Donald, kind of like a Patrick Willis. But here's his quote. So Luke Kuechly revealing his stance on a possible comeback. For the first 1 or 2 years, I was like, man, I can still go do this. I can go play. I still got some juice. Then as time progresses, you're like, nah, I'm good. So I don't think he's going. We all know he's no longer going to make a comeback. But I would have loved to see Luke Kuechly come back and play, man. It was just kind of one of those situations where him and Andrew Luck and other guys retiring earlier than expected. He should have been a first ballot Hall of Famer. He has the stats and accolades to be a first ballot Hall of Famer. 7 All-Pros, 8 Pro Bowls, over 1,000 total tackles, 18 total interceptions, 75 tackles for losses. The guy is truly one of one. He was the best linebacker in the 2010s, not named Bobby Wagner, not named Patrick Willis or Ray Lewis. He was that guy. He's in that upper echelon linebackers. He should have been a first ballot Hall of Famer. I would have loved to see him come back, but we know he's far removed. Anytime that you're being talked about or being eligible for the Hall of Fame, you've been retired for more than 5 years. And he's been retired for more than 5 seasons now, currently speaking. And we still haven't found a linebacker from. Shaq Thompson, we thought he was going to be the guy to kind of fill the void. We know Shaq Thompson was really in the works with Thomas Davis and Luke Kuechly. They were just kind of bringing him along, trying to integrate him into becoming that next Panther great at the linebacker position, and we just have not found that yet. So I know the day that when we find another Luke Kuechly, another Thomas Davis, man, we're going to be set for years to come. And I really look forward to it. So just kind of what I talked about just earlier in my first segment. Tyler Lockett is another name that has been a possible landing, or has been another guy that has been talked about of possibly landing with the Carolina Panthers. Tyler Lockett. If you don't know who Tyler Lockett is, you need to go do your damn homework. He's a Super Bowl winning receiver, played for the Seattle Seahawks. He has statistically his worst season this year, and it's because Jackson Smith and Jigba really balled this season for the Seattle Seahawks. We know what DK Metcalf presents, and then they relied heavily on the running game. But here's his numbers compared to Adam Thielen. But Father Time is undefeated. 2 touchdowns versus 5. Had 1 more reception than Adam Thielen's. Played 7 more games than Adam Thielen. And the receiving yards, 15 less than Adam Thielen while playing 7 fewer games. This is the issue when guys that you draft number 1 overall do not produce. We would not even be talking about Tyler Lockett being a possible solution for the receiver room if Xavier Legette just balled. It's just that simple. Xavier Legette is supposed to be that number 1 guy for us. I would rather us see us sign Deebo Samuel versus Tyler Lockett. These two guys right here, I mean, Father Tom is undefeated. Adam Thielen, this is going to be his last season in the NFL with the Carolina Panthers. He's going to close out his season as a Carolina Panther. Tyler Lockett, how many more seasons can we honestly say he has? 2? Maybe 3? He's on his way out the door. Deebo Samuel is going to be a guy that can produce for us, but we wouldn't even be talking about us getting a number 1 receiver or us going in the draft to go get some more receiver help if Xavier Legette just played his role this past season. You were our first selection in the first round last year. Like, this stuff matters. So when we're looking at just the future trajectory of the Carolina Panthers, we cannot continue to revert to old players. Got to get younger. Look at what the Philadelphia Eagles has done in the secondary. They've gotten younger. Cooper DeJean, Quinyon Mitchell, Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis, all these guys are young talent. We got to get younger. We got to bring some dogs, man. I'm not with the whole Tyler Lockett wave right now. He's produced less than Adam Thielen, and he's younger than Adam Thielen, and he's played more games than Adam Thielen. So I'm good on the Tyler Lockett. Najee Harris would be a huge acquisition for us. Could be a great one-year rental. So, man, I just look forward to us just continuing just to make moves this offseason.